What up, world? What up, world? We in this thing. This is our daily drip show. I am your producer, the elusive Cassius Pay. And we here with the man with the plan. Understand. Kilograms. That wasn't yesterday or today, man. That was a long time ago for him. However, he got drips of that knowledge for all of us. And this is Plain. What are you doing in the background? I'm trying to give you this thing. You over here throwing stuff around and everything. Look, you messed it up.
I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We here. We in this thing, and we about to bring up the myth, the legend. Right now.
I appreciate you all. Hello, world. Plain Dane. That was a weak ass intro, but I ain't gonna trip. That's my man's. My man's. He tries his best, don't he, to sound cool. We've been going through this for years. But anyways, thank you all for joining us tonight. It's such beautiful day, man. Beautiful day in Zamunda. So much going on. I feel like it's 2017 all over again. And some people may ask, well, why do you feel like that in 2025? Because, baby, the big, beautiful tax bill passed, baby. Good times is on its way. I know it's a lot of backlash behind it. Donnie is catching a lot of flack. People believe, I thought I even heard somebody say, they trying to take my child support because of Trump. I'm like, really? Really? How does this affect family law? Please explain that one to me. And shout out to the haters. I love the haters. I'm a peaceful brother. I don't want no problems, but I love a good, healthy debate, and if anything, you guys feel away, drip that button, go ahead and subscribe, throw something in the comment section, state, my DMs is fine, but, make your views more public. Go ahead and comment under it, good or bad or indifferent. It does not matter to me. I just enjoy the engagement. I love the conversation, and I am an eternal student. So if you got some new information to bring forth, or if you even want to correct some of the things I've said, bring it. I'm welcome. Listen. I never said I had all of the answers. I just got all the damn questions. You know what I mean?
Clap
So
back
meet
in
me
the
halfway.
comments too. You know what I'm
me
saying? He
halfway.
clap back in the comments. He be getting.
I don't clap back. I clap, 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 clap. No, I don't do that.
I clickety clack back. Twitter fingers, turn the Twitter fingers.
I don't do none of that. But I am open for conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Good. You don't have to stop me coming out of the coffee shop. You don't have to spam my DMs. You don't have to do none of that. You can come right here. Be a part of the I Squad. You know what I'm saying? My day drippers. You know what I mean? Come on in. We can have a great conversation. Because and also give me some topics you guys want us to touch on. Of course, we get a little political. We've been digging in on the Diddy situation. No pun intended. I'm digging the Diddy, but we do get into a couple of different conversations here. If there's anything we may have missed, or there's some headlines you feel like that you want the daily drip show to speak on, don't be afraid to get in them comments, y'all. I appreciate any feedback that's given. Thank you. And shout out to Jim Jones. You understand me? My lovely co-host. She's not with us. Everybody got jobs. So
right. Exactly.
When I can get off work, here I am. I get off work to go to work. This is my life. It's how we rocking right now.
All right. So we're gonna get into the expansion of the 2027 tax cuts. However, you know what I'm saying? Let me make sure that I do this the right way.
Yeah, let's do it the right way. So
handy dandy Google, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, handy dandy Google. And you all should use handy dandy Google too. Don't be criticizing the producer for doing his due diligence and fact checking and looking up information as we had these discussions. Maybe you all to stop sounding so damn loud and stupid at times. Pardon me for saying that, but if you out here speaking with half the information, you just a half ass. Come on and be a full ass. Tap in so you can get into your inner ignorance and correct that stuff and get the real facts on the situation. So
All
what does
right.
handy dandy Google bring us today?
All right. So handy dandy Google, we had to ask, what's in the big beautiful bill? People will say it's 1,000 pages long. Well, you know what? You got access to tools that allow you to break that stuff down. So let's see
Simplify it.
exactly what's known in that big beautiful bill act, known as the big beautiful bill. So we're gonna just cut through some of it because we're gonna get into it. So in the summary of the key provisions, right? A provision is what they put into the bill. People talk about you probably heard of pork and all of that that goes in the bill. That pork in the bill is basically when people try to stuff like different things for funding that have nothing to do with
Mhm.
anything
Like a certain
to get
party,
extra money.
like a certain party tried to do to us one time in the midnight hour, try to slip. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Try to slip the USA a Mickey and have him go to
Hmm.
sleep on something and then wake up stuff hurting. And you like, did he? Did he do it?
I don't know where he went with that, but I get okay.
Yeah. They
Danny,
trying to get us. That's all I'm getting at with that.
that's it. They try to plant traps for us, but we wasn't going for it.
Exactly. So what it does is makes the 2000 or 2017 tax cuts permanent. So those are some of the things that we have enjoyed over the last 5 years or so. That when they go away, it was about to be a bad day for a lot of us on some of these
Hmm.
tax cuts. So that's one thing. Additional tax relief. So that means no tax on tips. That's the and overtime. Now overtime. Now a lot of us is doing overtime, right?
All
So
the time.
exactly. So those of us who are hourly, that's a big old add to what's going on, and it encourages your now you're gonna work, but you know what I'm saying. At least you're gonna see more of that check and
Yeah, at
anything
least you
else.
feel like you're working with a purpose. You know what I mean? So
Right.
always
So
that's another complaint I used to hear a lot of. Man, I clocked in 65 hours last week, man, but them damn taxes killing me. Plus the
right,
child support, plus everything else.
right. So it was taking half, and now your baby mama just gonna take that half. So
There you
you all
go.
good. And then the
Mhm.
last thing is increased tax relief for seniors. This is near and dear to me because we got grandparents and stuff like that. They be on. Some people have to do extra stuff working at Walmart, making license plates, all kind of stuff
Yeah,
old people be doing just to make the ends meet because they can't be working all like that. So outside of volunteer efforts, there are other things that our elderly population do, and they should get tax relief. They pay more taxes than your ass. They
right.
done paid they pay you 85 and you got your little side job, man. I ain't trying to pay
Still
that.
getting taxed, still getting
Right.
whooped on, trying to do some damn DoorDash and
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that.
yeah,
You right.
wearing extra thick bottle glasses because you can't see that well at night, but you got to make ends meet. They deserve a break. The
Right.
bingo halls are a little empty these days because folks is out trying to make the ends meet. So it's a beautiful thing for those folks. Those
Grandma
are
ain't
older
gonna play
people.
them. Now grandma gonna play them numbers now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. She's gonna hit that
And
pick four.
exactly. Then another thing, child tax credit. The bill locks in boosts the double child tax credit for over 40 million families.
There you go. See, now we could jump over that plan C and get extra G.
Standard deductions, right? Double. So that means this deduction for over 91% of taxpayers. So if you ain't in that top 9% in the US, guess what? And you ain't got nothing to complain about, do you? All right. No tax on car loan interest. That's crazy that you got to pay on that already right now.
Pay taxes
But
on everything.
exactly, you done already bought the car, then you got to pay taxes on the loan. Hmm,
Right.
ain't no thing.
Double cheese on they double cheese. That's some bullshit.
And then
Sorry.
business tax relief. So the bill includes provisions of 100% immediate expansion for businesses and incentives for research and development. Where in United States? That's where we want it to be anyway. Right.
Exactly.
All right. Let's move
Exactly.
on to. Oh, go ahead. You got something that you want to
No,
put on
I'm
that on
just
the
gonna
innovation?
say,
Yeah.
shout out to my entrepreneurs out there. they have been struggling. This has been beautiful news for them. For those that really know, they had a smile on their face. Those that didn't fall short to the fear mongering on their timelines, they were like, yes, we need this, because this is definitely going to enrich the lives of a lot of folks that's actually making a few dollars. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what we about to see over the next year or two, with this situation kicking in.
Right. And we're gonna get into them, so I'm gonna just highlight them real quick. We got changes in healthcare, which we're gonna get into. So expansion of HSA accounts, if you know about that, and then some Medicare changes. Got border security changes that's about to happen with increased support going for the border wall and for our border agents. Other things happening, which is big to everybody right now, air traffic controller, increased excise tax on private endowments. So that's in at Harvard, right? In some of those areas where they got these billion-dollar endowments, more billions on billions, and that's tax-free money or very, very little tax that's happening. They getting double cheese on they double cheese with these investments because what you gonna do with an endowment? Make it bigger. So you you become an alum, right? They come begging you for that money, like yeah, I know you paid your student loans off, but can you give us some more money because we want
Yeah,
to build this building down the street?
let me
Where
get
you gonna
extra
build?
75,000 about it.
Got
You
that
got it.
building fund, church. You know what I'm saying? Doing all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Put
And
that in the name of Theodore, your grandson, who's going to be coming here because he is going to be, you know, a part of the
right,
alumni association because you went here. He's a
exactly.
legacy.
Does it benefit people? Yeah, because there are scholarships that come out of these endowments, no
Oh
doubt.
yeah,
However, yeah, you can get a scholarship, and they say who's it coming from? It's coming from the endowment. So they'll take out a portion of it, probably 1%, and then they say you can get $20,000 for school because you would have been short and you wouldn't have came up on tuition. So we're gonna give you this 20,000 to cover your room and board. You got us back
right.
next year though, because we gonna lower your AGI and all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna be able to go ahead and pay more on that loan
Yeah,
later
just make
on.
sure
That's
your
how they
ass
do it.
going to school for the right shit. Hopefully, if you at Harvard, you at Harvard Law, and you not up there studying studying the skin of reptiles or some trash that you're not gonna get no jobs. That's all.
Basket weaving. And
Yeah, I
then,
just
speaking of
learned
school
how
is
to hug.
expansion. Speaking of school is expansion in 529 education savings accounts for parents who are able and willing to care about their kids. This is about adding to a tax a lower tax or non-tax college fund savings account for families who do education for their kids. It can be college or like school age as well. So um, that think of it like a savings account um, for school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
All
sum
right.
it up, though, a lot of good stuff is coming out of this. Don't believe the fear mongering. Don't believe what you saw your cousin Teddy say while he was sitting on the toilet on Instagram, talking about, oh, Trump is coming for you. He's coming for your Medicaid. Yeah, ain't nobody gonna have you ain't gonna have food stamps no more. Don't listen to none of that. Handy dandy Google can be your friend. There's other search engines as well that you guys can do your own investigating and look into. See how this is going to benefit you. A lot of my people working in the private sector is very happy because some of us work for companies that's in different states than where they live. So they actually being taxed by multiple states and cities, I might add. Me, myself, I get taxed by 2 different cities and 2 different states because the city that I live in is outside of the city I work in. And then the company that I work for is in a whole nother state versus the state I live in. So when I say they double cheese on their double cheese, that's what we talking about. When it's a whole lot of double dipping and no skipping, they gonna eat and they gonna get fat. And I'm just like, ooh, let me work. Let me see how long I could sit at this office and let me see, see how many hours I can clock in. This life be over soon. Heaven is always. We ain't gotta sit there crying like that on you know, talking about oh God, old chef. We actually about to see some benefits in these paychecks. Them paychecks gonna get bigger. That don't mean the rims get bigger. That don't mean that the
Right.
closet get bigger. But we need our bank accounts to get bigger. We need to get prepared because there's a lot of stuff going on that we definitely need to get out in front of. And only way we're gonna do that if we got the right amount of money in that account. So just do your research on it, look into it, just see how it's gonna benefit you and beautify your life. That's all I'm asking. You can listen to our producer go over this stuff, and you can sit there and say, "Well, I don't know nothing about nothing you talking about." Do your damn research. Just look into it. That's all we ask. We can give you the information. You got to absorb it.
Speaking of absorbing, we just gonna go ahead and it wasn't
Crazy
meant
shit.
like that.
Go ahead.
It wasn't meant like that. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
It wasn't meant like that.
no diddy.
The the flagship part of the conversation that we was talking about for real is um no tax on tips, right? So
Right.
that's my main thing that we want to kind of discuss right now and
Yeah.
what it would do for the community. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
So for my
So
single brothers out there, they like to go out to eat. They like to go out and drink. They got their favorite bartenders that they go see. You go see Tracy with the nice walk and the nice hips. You know when her shift is, and you up there. Every time you buy that $5 drink, you throw her extra $3. And
that's now about to get a
usually,
little bigger, ain't it?
yeah, it's about to get a little thicker. So now it's a situation where she ain't sitting there talking about we pooling our tips and the other waitresses at the restaurant. We got to figure this out because we only can report so much. Donnie like, hey, keep the money.
All right.
You know,
And you know and you know who gonna really love the tippers and it rhymes with tippers.
uh-huh.
I think it's gonna be some people leaving OnlyFans going going
Oh,
back to where they where the home base is for that reason alone because it's cash.
it makes sense.
Oh
It
yeah,
makes sense now. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to it because now it makes sense. I don't have to supplement my income so much because now when I'm tipped, I'm cool. The pole ain't so cold no more.
and
You
I'm gonna
know,
report it though. That's my main thing. I'm gonna report
that's
that
the
now.
other thing. I am
Yeah,
hey y'all, I ain't gotta tuck this in the G string too far now. I can tell them I made this extra because they ain't
right.
gonna take it. You ain't got the
Exactly.
government talking about, I told you I run this shit. Give me the money. They not saying that no more. They can't say that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
So I'm gonna just let you know what that also impacts. That impacts somebody's ability to to run on student loans. You know what I'm saying? Or not student loans, to for loans. So like my if I want to buy a car, for example, I qualify now for a different car.
yeah.
I get that Hellcat now instead of that other regular ass car. Why? Because my tips actually cover. I ain't got to report do no fake report. Make sure y'all drip that button when y'all in here. Throw them thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, do it for us now. Do it for a player.
Yeah.
Drip that button.
But yeah, now I mean, now y'all not in there crying about what y'all ain't on social media talking about some my credit score is this. What can I get for this? You can kind of come through there with that bag now because them tips and you can report them and say, hey, this is what I'm making. Some of y'all gonna up the ante on it anyways because hey, it's not being taxed. So it don't
Exactly.
matter. I ain't telling you to come in front. I ain't telling you to do nothing out there. Get that car you want if that's what you want to do. You
Get
know,
that car you want. You can get that house that you want coming up at this point. Because that's
yeah,
another thing that people qualify for. But what that will also do is it'll take people out of qualification for some of these other things that we're gonna probably get into a little bit later, like qualifying for a Section 8, for example, something like that. You stripping on the side, you gotta,
Hey,
you stripping in the front now. You ain't stripping on the side.
I'm just
You gonna have
saying.
to, that's your job.
Them
That's what
DoorDash,
it
them
is.
DoorDash tips look a little better now too. Like all of that.
Exactly.
All of that. It affects people in so many different ways and facets. Not just my people that's dancing, not just my people in the restaurant industry. There's quite
Yeah.
a few different businesses where
Tips
tips is
involved.
allowed. And and waitresses definitely need, it was a waitress telling me she makes $6 an hour. She totally survives off tips. So you know
Yeah.
what that means? That means that that young lady or that young man that's working in that restaurant right now, depending on how affluent the restaurant is, and
Oh
the
yeah.
average
You
person
got
is
Ruth
there,
Chris or whatever else. Them tips is
he
gonna
might be
hit
making
real
he might
heavy.
be making 60,000 a year in tips, maybe.
Straight cash.
That's
Right
all.
now in today's tax, that's $80,000. You
There
know what I'm
you
saying?
go. There
So
you go.
that's enough to live off of, and people gonna provide better service because they're gonna be happy when they going up in there.
That's the
That
other
you got
part.
that you give me that $50 tip on that $250 meal that you done been on this
You
Valentine's
might
Day.
you might
I
get a
get that
shoulder
whole 50.
rub. You might get a shoulder rub. You might bite your steak and then be like, wait, where did napkin come from? And garçon like this, making sure you cool.
Guards on.
Because he know that, hey, if every time I dab that chin, he throw me a 10. I don't know. I just know I really want to be excellent at my job. Now everyone is competing to be even better at what they do because they know the tips are going to be more plentiful and they're not going to be taxed. So nothing but good can come from this. Nothing but good can come from this.
So
I
pivot
want to go
over
to
into overtime. You say I'm going to Denny's right
I'm
now.
going to
Uh,
Denny's with my feet
so,
up, talking about yeah, go ahead and
right.
give me that veggie
You know
burger.
you want this full 10. You know what I'm
What
saying?
you
It's the
you want
whole
a little
thing.
twin? Go ahead and bring me that lemonade, baby. What's your name? Yeah, come on, April. Bring me that lemonade, baby. I got a hot five for you. And guess what? Donnie said thank
There
you. You
you
ain't gonna
go.
take no taxes.
So yeah, so go ahead and pivot over to overtime though, and what that means. So not only
Shit.
tips, but let's get into the overtime aspect and get
That
into the productivity of the United States.
put it like this. Now you're gonna see okay, I'm gonna give y'all a little backdrop on when as soon as I heard this, all I thought about was back in 1997, 98, there was a little factory here that everybody wanted to work at called Lincoln Electric, right? So Lincoln Electric was the premier job. I kept telling people, I'm getting Lincoln Electric. I'm telling you, I have a Lexus, be a
Give
apartment.
y'all context. Lincoln Electric is like the old you work at the post office.
Basically.
Word?
Yeah.
You work at the post office?
Yeah.
Basically, same thing.
Yeah. Calvin got a job.
Calvin got Calvin got him a job.
Calvin got him a job. But basically, they had you can work all the overtime you want, and you got those bonuses, at the end of the year, which was huge. Everybody at Lincoln Electric was like, man, I worked here for a year. My bonus, I got a bonus for 12,000. You know what I mean? And then
Bonus, that's it's profit share. That's what was going on there.
that's
So
really what it was, but everybody called it the bonus. You know what I mean? I got a bonus. You know what I'm saying? So, but come come around April, May, they got that tax bill. They was like, you mean I had to pay? I had to declare that? Yes, you did, sir. Yes, you did. So you
yeah.
got taxed. A lot of people got in
You
trouble
say
for
you had 28,000? Now you got 14. That's
there you go. There
that's
you go. So
what that meant.
so now you working all this overtime, you're gonna be because most people survive off overtime nowadays. With the economy has been where it is, I got a lot of friends. I got a whole group chat that I didn't even ask to be in, but I'm in. And all I see people talking about in that group, I don't talk much, hey, fellas, what's going on? But I see a lot of conversation about, yeah, man, I gotta work that OT, man. My transmission slipping. I gotta work that OT, man. You know, my son getting ready to graduate. I gotta work that OT, man. This mortgage is due. Everybody's working overtime, not for the extras, but because if I don't work overtime, I may not be able to make ends meet in certain situations. You know, prime is coming up. And if it, you know, and with our folks that look like me, we take a lot of pride in prime. You know, they gotta have that car. They gotta have all these different things. So, you know, that overtime money is what helped a lot of households. Now the fact that you're working at overtime and they are not going to take taxes out of that, you mean all of that is your money now? Do you know how phenomenal that is going to feel getting that big paycheck and you look at it and you see all that extra money sitting there? Christmas in July for real. You know, it's a lot of people. It's gonna be a lot of people shedding tears when they get that paycheck or they get that direct deposit, and they look at their check and be like, "Wait a minute, they give me the right check?" Because a lot of people
Right.
don't follow what's going on, so they're gonna be in for the shock when they do hit. They're gonna be like, "Wait a minute,
All
bro,
right.
my
So we're
check
gonna
say 2,200. What the fuck is going? I ain't gonna say nothing." And then your homie next to you, they work the miles with you. Wait a minute, my check say 2,300.
mm.
What's
And all
going
of a
on?
sudden
And then here
trying to
come
break that
Larry.
bag.
What you gonna do with that extra money, Greg? What you gonna do with that extra money? What you gonna do with that extra money for hey, Jared? What you gonna do with your money? If you go somewhere, if you go hit them strippers, hold on, wait a minute. What's 27 trip fare? You know, you got people yelling
Trick
that
fair.
trip fare.
My
You know,
trick bill them went sky high.
trick bill sky high. I'm about to pay my wife's credit card off, and I'm gonna pay my side chick rent. She got that Section 8. We balling. You know, everyone's gonna be happy. The benefits of it, if you save and do what you're supposed to do with your money, you can live a very, very nice life off of the fact that you've been working at overtime, stacking that money, making things comfortable. So now, aside from that scenario, think about our responsible people. They got to send money to the baby that's in that first year of college. You know, she got her loans, but you ain't want her to take too many loans. So you probably, you know, set aside an extra 5K to take care of a few things. I know a few moms that's doing that, that's working overtime, that's driving and doing, you know, doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and doing all this extra stuff, working at a department store. They doing all of this extra stuff to make ends meet. To know that those people are about to be in for a windfall because you know you only as paid as your hustle. You only as paid as you hustle. So if you're willing to work those extra hours, you're gonna see them extra dollars, and that's just how it is. You know, if you work, you're gonna eat. But to know you're getting all of that money is so refreshing. I'm so happy for you all. Happy for myself too, because yes, playing Dane works a lot of extra hours as well. I feel very good knowing that, you know, not to slide into our next situation, the next conversation, see down there. I'm very happy about this because I
Right.
always feel like I got four hands and two pockets.
Right. So this is something that you know about, and we go into the next one after this too. Is relief for seniors. So two things we decided to kind of combine this into. So we talk about relief on taxes for seniors. So that's good, and Social Security benefits are going to get quote unquote slashed, right,
Mhm.
by some people. So first thing that we'll talk about is salt. So what is salt? I'm not gonna
That
talk through handy dandy Google.
is
I'm just gonna let
state
y'all know what it
and
is.
local tax.
Look at that. Look at that. Plain
State
underscore
and
name went to handy dandy
local
Google and got that.
tax.
Yeah, so
I'm
y'all
saying it
heard it
again,
from us.
state and local tax
Right,
bill, meaning they about to slow up how they tax y'all on that. That's about to
right.
shrink
So salt deductions will be increased to $30,000. So for individuals earning under $400,000, so that'll phase out for a higher income. So what that means is like paying tax federal kind of washes out in the state where you don't pay as much tax. So that's local tax. If we'll know if you filled out your stuff in the H&R Block. Let them have interest tax where you got NFT such. Don't want to mess with that.
Right, right. So bottom line is more blessings, more blessings. Not only is we not seeing any taxes on tips, you know, they also about to shrink down exactly what they taking out for state and local tax. And then in certain instances, they're not going to tax you on both. So they're not going to double dip on you. So it's gonna in certain instances, it's gonna be either state or local. They can't do both. Please study that one. That's what I want. That's what I want you all to be able to stand on top of your car and argue. What are you talking about? No, you can't do that. That's not legal. According to the SALT bill.
There you go. Can you hear me? I want to make sure I'm heard effectively.
Yes, I hear you greatly.
All right. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Medicaid overhaul.
Right.
Right.
And Social Security, just real quick on that.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's going to definitely help a lot of our seniors. I work in risk management, so insurance. I'm always talking to seniors, and they always talking about how. I mean, I get my Social Security check, but it barely be this amount on there. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. I'm very happy for you all to know. I mean, because some of you all throughout your Social Security, they do take out for Medicare. But the fact that they're not taxing it on the back end, that's going to help you guys also. You know, you can afford to get the sausage with your eggs. That's what that's one of my other seniors would say. I could buy sausage, but I can't buy eggs. I gotta call my daughter to get the sausage and I get the eggs. And we have breakfast together to help me save some money. Because I don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills. Now you get a little relief. Now, yeah, we can slide off to the next conversation.
All right. So we're gonna go into Medicaid overhaul. So work requirements are imposed for childless adults aged 19 to 64. The bill seeks to remove at least 1.4 million undocumented increments immigrants from Medicaid rolls and reduce open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act. So it's two things that's in there. So the overhaul is for childless adults aged 19 to 64, you're going to be required to work in order to get Medicaid. And then the other part is if you're an undocumented immigrant, falling off them rolls. So that's the reduction in the enrollment.
Now, what my interpretation for that and how it affects me and my business, as far as in the risk situation, as far as insurance, there's a lot of people that were afraid to even work when they've gotten Medicaid because they like, man, as soon as they see that I'm working, they're gonna take it. And I need that because yeah, man, you know, if I work and I can't afford insurance. So it's free for me right now. And then every state isn't a Medicaid expanded state. You know what I mean? So but those that are, you can get you a job. Now it's required for you to get a job in order to keep it. So not only do you have the Medicaid to where you got the free insurance, where you're not paying for anything, you also can earn a living too. And I need you all that don't pay for insurance to talk to people who do pay for insurance and think about how much of a blessing that is. The fact that you can still work and get Medicaid. Once upon a time, Plain Dame had
Yeah.
a great Medicaid situation going. And they was like, you make how much again? Bye. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. I don't know what he was thinking.
Right.
I don't know why it took him this long. But get him out of here.
Yeah.
And
The,
they
the
got me
only
up
the
off of
only
it.
way that it really helps you out, like, is if you if you are very, very healthy and like you got Medicaid, but you ain't used it. Like that's when you at a loss. But if you got some health issues, like you rich, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Like if you got like a debilitating disease, if you got something that you need metformin every week, whatever that
Man,
like those prescriptions cost, and for to be able to get those for free, you rich. I'm
right.
telling. let me get that, let me get that Wegovy in resale. Now that's the federal
Yeah,
reserve. We're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? You get what
right.
I'm saying?
And Wegovy and yeah, weight loss medications because
Exactly.
type 2 diabetic and your insulin, that Vascular and Novolog and all that stuff. That stuff is super expensive when you don't have insurance, or if you get some insurance that's like a bronze plan, it's like lower tiered that covers essentials but don't cover stuff until you meet a deductible. Man, that stuff kill folks. And then I get on the phone with people and their parents, and I can't stand that either. I get somebody mama calling me, Jerry, he don't really care about insurance. I care about it more than he do. That's why I'm calling. Well, how old is Jerry? He's only 28. That's my baby. Get Jerry ass on his phone. Jerry could talk to it. Jerry get on the phone. I don't normally do this until Jerry ends up eating himself into type 2 diabetic. Now all of a sudden, Jerry know insurance backwards and forwards. So for those who can't get Medicaid, just understand how blessed you are. At least go get a physical. You don't do nothing else. But now they're allowing you to work and have Medicaid. They can't use that as an excuse anymore. So if you working, that's a requirement now. Go get a job. Matter of fact, go work at a restaurant where you can get some tips and it's not taxed.
You get that and Medicaid. I don't know that if you add all that up together, you in the 6-figure range.
You're balling right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect of it, we'll jump into a little bit of student loan changes. So the student loan system will be simplified into two repayment options. The Biden era forgiveness regulations are going to be repealed or are repealed, and the changes aim for a $330 billion budget savings. So that's what's happening there at a high level. So
Right.
they're going to simplify from all these different payment plans and acts that everybody going through.
Yeah, because folks are confused. Well, I filled this out. I did this. They told me I don't have to pay nothing until 2036. Don't even know what you're signing. So the fact that they actually simplifying this, it does nothing but not only make it easier for you to understand what you're doing, it also add accountability on the sneaky side. Like, what do you mean you didn't understand it? It's laid out right here. That's why it's been simplified. You know exactly what you were supposed to pay. You knew what your interest rates was. All of this is listed in front of you. Can't say you didn't understand it. Can't say you didn't know it. Because that's all I'm hearing now too is people. I didn't understand what was. What's going on now. Which people love to not know something. Producer, can we agree on that? People love to not know.
why
They love
why
to
you
not
want me
know.
to agree to that? You know what I'm saying?
Because we talk about this off the air all the damn time. It's always people can't wait to say what they don't know. I don't know shit. I ain't know.
Right. I
Find
just I
out.
just I don't do nothing. I just sit here, I watch
I just,
TV. That's
no,
all I do.
all I know is I was listening to my Will Smith CD and playing the game. Shut up and learn. But anyways, that's my own little pet peeve. Excuse me. You can go into
All
the
right.
next topic.
Yeah, so I have brought that up, but now, we getting into the impact on cuts to green energy initiative. So the bill phases out and or eliminates tax credits for electric vehicles. Who would have thought that was going to happen? And renewable energy, particularly those using materials from China.
Mm.
Resource extraction, so that means pulling out resource from public lands, expanded on leasing mineral extractions authorized. So it's expanding our ability to pull in information from or not information, pull in from a resource from offshore.
Okay. Sound like a
Exactly.
better situation with the fake green bill we had before. It's
It's
like
just a supplement for Teslas. You know what I'm saying? If you can afford to buy a Tesla, you got $8,000 off. That's pretty much what that sound like.
right. And I don't know. With all of the crazies out here, I don't know if you want to go buy a Tesla still. Are they still burning Teslas? They still do. That seemed to got quiet, didn't it? So yeah.
Don't tell nobody. Why?
Yeah,
Because stock go down. Why? Because now a Tesla just costs $8,000 more. That's what that sound like to me.
basically.
Yeah.
So so a homie with the battery operated vehicle might hop out with the 30 yard the 30 clip. I'm like, you better back up before I put 8,000 rounds in you. It's gonna be a little
Alleged.
more defensive, allegedly. Well, stand your ground law. I don't know. But
Oh
yeah,
shit. Here you go. But that does impact, like a lot of this stuff because people were pushing full energy on everybody, right? So you
right,
you want a combustible engine car? That's so old school. Why are you trying to
right,
make fetch happen with this renewable energy stuff, right? That's pretty much what this is sounding like because the market is speaking for itself. You can't make
right,
fetch happen with renewable energy.
right. What are we gonna do with all these batteries? How
Exactly.
do we recycle all of these bad batteries?
You
No
better
one
you
wants to
better
talk
keep them
about.
away from a fire. That's the main
That's the
thing.
other part. That's the other part. So yeah, so fear on the fear mongering side of this is we're gonna lose 86,000 jobs behind this. They're gonna take funding away from our factories that's building solar panels and all of this kind of this shit.
I
Yeah,
mean, technically, those are government jobs because it was all being supported by the government.
that's
It was
the
like a
other
third
part.
party government job because that's all
Yeah,
it was. Like, we making money from these panels? No, because you giving them money on that end, then on the back end, you giving everybody taxes. It's like, hey, you get these energy panels, we gonna give you a $12,000 tax credit. That's money too. So you
right,
getting it on the back end and the front end. So
right.
off both ends.
And then that's all you hear the wife say. We need to get some solar panels. And then, we get some solar panels. Not only is it gonna save energy, they gonna give us some money. Fuck the
Yeah.
damn solar panels. I don't want a regular roof around this. I want to
Yeah,
plug
you got them
in.
extra holes in your roof now, and
Yeah, I
let
want
let a
to
leak
plug
happen.
in. I want to plug in the wall, not my damn ceiling. You know, now I got extra energy, but I got dry rot. Like I'm no, no. Sound like a more expensive problem at the end of the day.
Nah,
No,
what I
I
think is that people who already got it, they it's like you got a free check, so bounce with it. As long as you ain't got to renew them panels or whatever, I think you made out. Just like with the car, if you got it now, you
you got away
just
clean.
yep, that's the
Like
main
my
thing.
like my little homie that used to work at the job. He was driving his Tesla with his phone and all of that. I'm like, oh, ain't that cute? That's dope. You got away clean. But if you want to upgrade, it'll be a little bit more pricier. But yeah, that's the
Exactly.
impact on green energy. Not to be confused with my people that go to the smoke shop. That green energy.
That's CBD energy.
That's
Wow,
that green energy is still intact. Like
that's getting taxed. That,
yeah, they taxing that, but yeah, it's gonna be what it is.
yeah, that's that fun tax. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah, you don't mind paying that tax. You know what I mean? For my people that indulge in that. Shout out to Joey
exactly.
Zach.
And now we gonna go ahead and hit funding on border security. So go ahead and tell us why you think that that's a good thing, and then I'll get into the nerd speak and kind of talk about what's uh, what's being
Right. He
provided
gonna
with it.
nerd out. I'm gonna give it to you in the simplest form. Uh, they've been doing a damn good job at that border, you know, and they'll do even better if we're able to hire more people, spend a little bit more money, keep it even more secure. I want that 98% to turn to 100% of people not getting into our country illegally, so we don't have to do. They came in, they broke in, they kicked in the door, and they stole the land and said it was theirs. And now we need to do due process, like foreigners or some damn squatters that come in here. Like we got to go to the courts and evict them. Nah. How about we just increase what we got going on at the border? They're doing a good job, give them people their bonuses. They working overtime, so don't tax their overtime. And let these people live. So our border feels more secure than it ever have. I'm very happy with that. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's keep
I
that
mean,
money
but
coming
on the
with a
flip
better
side,
border.
can we go to these countries and walk in and
Never.
without getting a bullet in the ass.
We lose a toe as soon as we toe the line. Matter of fact, they might grab, but you can't listen. You ain't hopping out on the beach in Africa without getting permission. It's like LA. You gotta check in. You gotta check in.
Right. And
Oh,
most of these countries you gotta pay a visa tax if you got your visa
yeah,
anywhere from $20 to dollars. Every country that you
fee.
go to, for those of us who have traveled
Yeah,
international, if you an American
fee.
especially, they gonna make you pay for that.
Yeah, you gotta pay a fee for
All
you
right,
to
so
be.
third talk on defense and national security. So it's going to be increased defense spending going. I'm lumping them, right? So nearly 150 defense, 5 billion for a new missile defense system. It's called the Golden Dome for America. If you want to know the acronyms, it's GDF USA.
Push the goddamn button.
GDF USA.
Take one more step,
And it's
and
GDFU.
it's GD on the BITC. Relax and take notes before the border patrol leave you in a cloud of smoke. Throw you in the choke. Gun smoke. Huh?
Yeah, I went straight to defense. Let me go back to border security.
I'm
So
saying he is. You know he know what the producer on. Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up. What?
GDFU.
TDFU. Like, wait a minute. Wait a
SA.
minute. These people need our help. Help get their ass back over that border. That's what they're gonna need help. But yeah,
All right, so major funding for border security is coming down. That means 46.5 billion is allocated for border wall construction. So that big beautiful wall, that's going to be part of my other campaign promise that I couldn't get in, and now I shoehorned it in there.
you smell
The
that?
wall is going.
I smell the creation of more jobs.
That's what
Somebody
the
got to
rock
build
is
that
cooking.
wall. Somebody got to build that wall. Smell like paychecks. Smell like
Exactly.
overtime and no tips.
Yeah, let me get overtime on that wall. I'll go in there too.
Yeah, please. Listen, I've been putting up and knocking down walls all my life. This would be fun.
Wow. Not those kind of walls, Diddler. All
Hey,
right. And so that does mean hiring thousands of new border patrol and customs officers, complete with technology upgrades. So that's good.
vacation's
Also,
ready.
part of that, they're going to constitute an asylum fee. So what does that mean? Oh yeah, you can come over here and we grant you asylum. Guess what? $1,000 fee is posed on asylum seekers. If you live in one of these countries, that might be 3 million pesos or
Yeah,
something like.
I'm about to say, what is that in pesos? What is that in? How many euros?
Exactly. Yeah, rupees with his
How many
it's
rupees?
it's a, it's a lot. You're gonna have to go to a different country. You're gonna have to do a pit stop. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
look at different
we gotta
levels.
go
There's
back.
levels to this.
I don't have enough dark nar to get into to get to the US right now. I gotta go back, paddle back. They talk about 1,000.
Right.
Gotta
So
turn back around.
and the goal is to have a 1 million deportations annually, 100,000 detentions for the board. Doing work and they making it performance based. And so that means what they got now, they gonna ratchet it up, and people getting paid. They gonna be doing overtime. They gonna get it in. So that's what that
Gonna
means.
be in there. Hey man, can I work your shift? No, I'm gonna be here
Hell no.
every day, all day. My shift started at 10. I was here at 7.
Right,
Fuck you, man. I'm working. I'm working. One person like, yeah, my birthday covered up. You taking off?
right. Can I have your hours?
Give me the money.
Right.
For real.
Then
I'm
it's
working.
performance based, right? Like Charleston came in, he done He done went and got two or three more people than what we thought he was gonna do. He gonna put him out
Right,
there. He about to get six tonight. That
right.
kind of thing happened.
We found him. He didn't even pull his gun. He just had he had a man in a headlock and just walked his ass to the detention. He even used cuffs. Get that man a raise
And a tip.
and a tip.
Right. Both are tax free right now. Like we take tips.
We take tips.
Everybody take tips.
WTT. WTT. We take tips. Give it here. Told you I run this shit. Give me the money.
All right. So we done kind of walked through, some of those opportunities. This is good to see. But there is another side to it, and we would not to kind of talk about it in a way that we would do in order to
Yeah,
be fair and impartial as a unit.
right.
So, what is the con? The con is actually the impact on the deficit in way of spending. So it's not what some of us would want to see. And there are some people that was taking hard lines within the negotiations of this bill to get it passed in the first place, right? It's people that want to see less spending. And so what's the effect? So tax provisions are projected to increase the federal deficit by 3.3 trillion dollars to 5 trillion over the next decade, offset in part by spending cuts and program reforms. So what's the distributional impact though? Americans earning $30,000 to $80,000 are estimated to see roughly a 50% tax reduction in tax bills. So those making 30 to 80,000, that would be considered like the large swath of lower middle class to middle class going into that six-figure space. But that's most of Americans. So you catching like 90% of America with that who's earning money.
Yeah.
So, with that reduction in tax bill, that's crazy. And I don't think anybody going to shy up against that
Right.
with
That's my
also
point. Like,
okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I got excited. I
Yeah, last piece is just
my spirit.
the average tax benefit of 5,000 per child too. So, you know, yeah, we don't got to put them in those plan B graveyards or nothing like that. Have some of them babies. 5,000.
Bottom line is this: we spend a lot of money, anyways, right?
Right.
We spend a lot of money as a country. There's just no way around it. We're trillions in debt now, right? So, what's another 3 to 5 trillion being spent, but in a good way, to where it actually enriches us? Your average everyday Americans feel less of a noose tightening around their neck when they get their paychecks and have to pay their bills and things of that nature. I'd rather that than them put on a transsexual tap dancing display in Germany. Some of the stuff we were paying for before, money just going, you know, USA was just ridiculous. Just the waste. You guys hated Elon Musk because he was helping you guys save money. You found that suspicious. Maybe Elon wanted you to be able to make more money and your money work for you so you could buy more Teslas. Did anybody think about that? Maybe.
Right. He know that 8,000 was going away. He
Yeah,
needed you to be able to
you to be
look
able
at
to
him
make
as a
some money.
hero.
You can afford you can afford to buy what he's chefing. You know what I mean? But bottom line is that we've always spent a lot of money as a country. For one, we take care of several other countries. We always in somebody else's business. We're the buyer of everything. So naturally, our debt is just going to be troublesome. It is what it is. But finally, money being spent that we can smile about because it's actually being spent to our benefit, right? So yeah, that is a con. We are losing money, and there is going to be certain government programming that's going to get slashed and cut to a degree. Not to the degree that you fear mongering people is putting out there, but it's definitely going to get cut. Medicaid will feel the brunt of that. There's certain other aspects of like Section 8, stuff like that. We're going to feel the brunt of that. It just is what it is. But you're supposed to get into those programs to reset your financial situation, not stay there.
Right.
You supposed to get, the whole point of that is to help you get on your feet. Now you're on your feet, you get some financial literacy so you can stay on your feet, not steady suckling the government teeth for the rest of your life, and generational curse starts developing of your kids watching you do something, and then you grow them up, and then you show them how to work the system, and thus, and so forth. Decades down the line, people still talking about, man, I'm on that I'm on that Section 8 list, or man, I can't wait. I got to get this Medicaid because I can't afford to do this, that, and the third. A lot of benefits now. It's more benefits now working than not working. It used to be a time where you was really like, yeah, I need to go ahead and, man, I think I'm about to go off the grid because I owe this and I owe that. And I'm on this hamster wheel and it's not taking me anywhere. Now you get a little relief. And I'm not saying this is a cure-all, because at the end of the day, hustle is what's going to really be the thing that save you. A good hustle, a good work ethic, a backbone, and the wherewithal to want to work some extra hours to get you some extra paper that's not going to be taxed. Or if you decided, hey, I want to be a bartender, if you the
Yeah.
girl that's cute, or the guy that the girls like, and you show up and bartend, you make some money. Do what works for you. While you're young, use your beauty. When you're older, use your brains. Either way it go, get this money while the getting is good. We ain't
Right.
had
I
this.
mean, for me, like I pay based on performance. I'm here to make service great again, right? Because
Right.
I hate getting bum ass service from people who don't want to be there. Fine. You know what? You ain't got to be there. I didn't ask for you to be here. You don't got to wait my table. You don't got to do whatever. It's a service position for a reason. And most of us are in service jobs, like it or not. You might think that you ain't providing a service. If you, even if you in the government, right? You doing license, you at the DMV. That's a service. People don't have to get a license. There's a lot of people who don't get it.
I know a
Shoot.
lot of them.
I, right. I know somebody driving 50, 60 years without one and just got caught one too many times, and the judge made them get a license because they ain't believe in license. Because you can buy a car, you don't need
Crazy.
no license to buy a car, right?
Right.
So it's a service. It's like everything else, cell phone or whatever. You go and you give bad service long enough, my phone don't work. Guess what? I'm gonna go get. I'm skipping from this provider to another provider. Same thing with, our man playing Dame here in insurance. Like your insurance don't cover nothing. Guess what? People gonna go from one to the other because I'm paying all this money. I might as well pay to get something from the service.
Exactly.
So that's where we at with it.
Right. And it's streamlining. Now everything is just about performance based when you look at it. You got some people that, I mean, even in the adult entertainment situation with strippers, you got some strippers that just outwork other strippers. They looking at these other ones like they beautiful, but they lazy. They got good bodies. I got a decent body, but it don't look good as theirs. So I gotta really, really work this pole. I gotta really, really work this lap dance. And they working. And now they actually can see the fruit of their labor. So I applaud everybody with a good hustle right now. You got to look at the silver lining. There's going to be pros and cons to everything we come across. But there's really, really good pros here. If you shut off the white noise of the negativity that's surrounding the thoughts of this because of who's the one that's pushing it, because it ain't so much as they don't like the idea, they just don't like the person. Somebody else would have implemented this, oh, they would have been praising. This has been the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? But
So
get
let's
while the
ask the
getting is good.
community what they think on this, especially like the tax on tips. I know I always have you be the Professor Socrates. Go ahead and ask them Socratic
All
questions.
right. So, first question: what would you do with extra 25,000 a year? What would you do with it? That's just it. Because that's actually becoming a reality. What would you do with 25 extra thousand in your account?
We
Is
about
that
to
going to
have
be the
inflation.
vacation fund?
Somebody about to buy another Chinese. Hermes bag.
At a car?
Yeah, they wrecked that for everybody, didn't they? You want some Gucci shoes? Everybody like,
Nah, I don't know now. But yeah. But what would you do with 25 extra thousand sitting in your account? All right. It's one question I got for you. Um, don't all rush to the comments and answer at once. Another question. Another question. Does this change your viewpoint on tipping while you are out at said restaurant or bar? I got some people that don't believe in tipping, but now with this new situation, does this change your thoughts on it? Because I know for a while, I know a lot of people that was like, man, I don't care. She can get it. She need to get a different job. Now you understand there's actually benefits to this person doing well. Does this change your thoughts on it? Or should I say, not necessarily change whether you believe in it or not? Does this change the amount you're willing to tip at this point? Do you become someone that congratulates, or are you going to be the hater that just, I'm going to tip them less now? Not like they being taxed on it. They're going to see more of it anyways. My $5 going to go a long way. Are you going to
oh,
be
that's
one of them?
dirty. That's dirty as shit.
But
That's
it's people
dirty, right?
like
Yeah,
that.
you right.
It's
I
people that
really
think
didn't
like
think of it
that.
that way.
Me personally, I'm $25, baby. You come to my table, I'm $25. $40, depending on how well the service is going. Might tip you even more depending on where I'm at and what we just indulged in. You know what I mean? I believe in tipping. I like tipping people, especially if you do a good job. All right. Um, third question. If you are a person that has been on Medicaid or is on Medicaid or living in Section 8, what do you believe an appropriate amount of time should be for you to be benefiting from that program? Is that something you feel like you should be able to keep forever? Or do you only need it for a certain amount of time? Now that you know that the landscape of how business, how you're being paid, how you're being taxed is changing. It's slowly becoming way more beneficial to be in a job and out of it. So how long should you feel like you should either be in those programs? Do you think people should be able to keep them forever? Or are you okay with working a certain amount of time within that program to get yourself together? And how long do you believe you should be allowed to do so? Those are my three questions, ladies and gentlemen. Drip on that for me one time. Can you get a chance?
All right. So
Closing
when we
conversation.
in closing,
In
final thoughts.
closing.
Don't drown up in here, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it gets wetter, diddler style.
He gonna stop sliding in, no pun intended, a little weird commentary. You know, ain't nobody going with the little weird rigmarole he keep throwing out there. Calm that it down. But anyways, um, final thoughts, final drip. Like I said before, I say it again. There's pros and cons to everything you guys are gonna face. There's always gonna be something that's bad as well as something that's good. Honestly, we can't appreciate sugar without sucking on a lemon. You know, we can't appreciate a good day without a good night. You don't understand how great a sunny day is until you done stood in the rain a little bit. It just keep yourself on a positive note, operate on a higher frequency. I promise you, you'll smile more. You know, your energy will turn up and change, and just pretty much understand when you're in a blessed moment. Don't miss this moment complaining. That's one thing I want to keep. I got to drive that home. I'm gonna say it again. Don't miss a great moment to complain. There's a lot of things to complain about. Find more things to celebrate. That's what I'm gonna leave you guys with tonight.
All right. And if you like the content that we got here, just know that we got other ones for you to check out. You can check out Lavender Marriage. You can check out Tory Lanez. You can check out The Diddler. And then one that's going ham is It's a Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Right? All of which, whether it's Jim Jones or Plain Dane, they give you a lot of good information that we come to enjoy. So a lot of y'all ninja watchers out there, that's people who watch from the shadows and everything. We appreciate you too. But come on into the family. Come be part of the Odd Squad.
Yeah,
When we
I
drip, don't
appreciate
drown.
it. Come on through, man. We going this is home. This is home for y'all. You know, internet hug, internet hug. Come on in. Come on in. I definitely want to get your point of view on a few things. So like I said at the start of the show, you got some topics you want us to touch on. You feel like there's some point of views that you guys want to bless us with. Go ahead and give us those thoughts. Go ahead and drip for us one time. Have a
All
good one.
right. Peace.